looking at marketing whatever business idea you have, are you trying to look long-term and short-term at the same time? Because the agency that I would traditionally think of is more long-term planning.
Right. The
hacking you described is let's do this short-term. Isn't a combo the best?
I don't know that you can do a combo in the early stages because oftentimes you're just trying to survive. Restaurant may not be the best example of that, but an early stage startup, I don't think they have the luxury of thinking very long-term at the beginning. So they often don't need a PR firm or a marketing firm. They just need to start driving some business, use those customer dollars to then go out and maybe pay an expert down the road. But it's hard at the beginning to try to do both.
So as I'm understanding it, if I'm doing hacking, I'm going to try a bunch of different things and see what works.
Iterate.
And then stick with what works.
Yes.
Versus a traditional marketing company, I'm going to hire someone who's going to have an overall strategic plan.
Right. And that has its time and place as well. But you hit it on the head. It's all about testing and iterating feedback and not being afraid to say that didn't work. Like, that seemed like a great idea at 3 a.m, but it's not, and I'm just going to move on. So not having this dogmatic ownership on the idea, just throwing it out there, trying it, and moving on.
But now with this modern day hacking, to get back to Linda's question, that's when somebody goes to a group who over, say, 36 hours is going to discuss all these different ideas that you could try and then throw that one out, try that one, throw that one out?
You could do that. I think, are you thinking more of a hackathon, like from a software development standpoint, or are you talking about like people that are sitting around talking about marketing ideas?
I thought there were like these growth hacker companies where they go through idea after idea.
I think you're right. I've never employed them, but I would expect that is part of what they do. It's just hard. I always believe that it's hard for somebody from the outside to come up with those ideas. I think if Anthony had asked a consultant, like, well, what should I do it? It's unlikely the consultant would have come up with the cab driver ploy. So I think in the early stages, you're the best.
You're the best hacker.
Yeah, you and your team are truly the best. Now, what you can do is, let's say you're in your online retail or something, and you then can hire some growth hackers who have experience in online retail, and they probably do have some tips and tricks that are worth paying for. Like they'll say, do these 8 things, you're not doing them yet, they'll help you. I would be very nervous about a consultant that claims they're a, quote, growth hacker.
So Linda should just try a lot of different things to get her business moving to the next stage, and whichever one works, go with that.
And I'd spend my time talking to other entrepreneurs, not an outside consultant.
Hope we answered your question to Linda. If you've got questions for John Greathouse joining us here every week on Cowork Radio, it's askjohn@coworkradio.com. You can also go to our website at coworkradio.com, and we'll see you next week.
All right, I'll be here.
Stop. Thank you, John. After the break, Christian Johan Smith is here, co-founder of TrackR, and Dr. Luc Maes from Kaebae. You're listening to Cowork Radio. Please follow us on social media and download episodes on iTunes, coworkradio.com. We will be right back.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Stewart, and I'm here to help you. An appraisal of your art and antiques may be the best investment you can make today. You know, after the fires, folks were concerned about their valuables and asked what was the best way to protect them for insurance purposes. You need an appraisal to determine value. When you plan your trust and will, and you want to give treasured art and antiques to your family, you need an appraisal to determine value and be fair. When you want to sell art or antiques in this fluctuating market, you need an appraisal to determine value. When you need help selling something for the highest value, you need an appraisal. And when you have inherited art and antiques and want to know what you have, you need an appraisal. I'm Elizabeth Stewart, a certified appraiser for these past 20-odd years, and I can help. An appraisal is less expensive than you think and may be the best investment in these times. The first consultation is free, so call me at 805-895-5005 and check out my radio show on AM 1290.
Here's a question. Do you enjoy experiencing the best of Santa Barbara? Tasty restaurants, scenic hiking, local banking experts. That's right, local banking experts. Montecito Bank and Trust was voted Best Bank again by the Santa Barbara Independent, Santa Barbara News Press, and Santa Ynez Valley news readers. Plus, they have over 40 years of experience, 10 branches from Solvang to Westlake, a convenient on-the-go mobile banking app, and a savvy team of local decision makers. Visit Montecito.bank today. Montecito Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Do you have a special event coming up? Go to Zotos for all your party needs. At Zotos, they offer packages for birthday parties, corporate and team building events, accompanied, of course, with a light show, DJ, delicious food, bowling, and full bar. Call 967-0128, where the staff will help you plan and execute an exciting event, all within your budget. Go to Zotos.com to book your party now, because when you're having an event, it's got to be Zotos. Welcome back to Co-Work Radio here on KZSB 1290 AM. I'm Catherine Raymock.
And I'm Jane Walker-Wood.
And we're a show all about the modern entrepreneur. Each week we have a chance to interview two company founders. And so happy to have Dr. Luc Maes in the studio with us. He's the founder of Kaebae, a sustainable health and beauty. And well, first of all, welcome to the show. How are you, Luke?
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I first met you many years ago. I feel like it was at least 15 years ago or longer ago. And you were with the Maes Center for Natural Health. Is that still part of what you do?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been a naturopath now for 25 years. I've had a passion for medicinal plants and the way they can benefit health and beauty, and has led me on my next journey. And I fell in love with a giant tree, and it took me to Africa.
And the giant tree is something called you can correct us if we're wrong, but it's the baobab? Baobab?
Baobab or baobab tree. Actually, it means a fruit with many seeds. Throughout the years, I've done a lot of research on plants. My research has taken me all over the world. And about 5 years ago, came across this amazing tree, considered a lost crop, a natural resource, undervalued for its economic and health potential. Became totally interested in the fruit initially because of its nutrition. It benefits blood sugar. It also benefits the gut. It's prebiotic. So it was hitting all the points that I was looking for in an ingredient. But the tree happened to grow in the savannah in Africa.
So how did you just stumble across a tree in Africa? I'm curious.
Well, I mean, I've done continued research into plants, and when I learned about this tree, for some reason, this tree spoke to me, and I was drawn to go to Africa. I had to go and touch this tree, but how to get there? So that led me to a Google search of all things, and I connected with a local humanitarian, Thomas Cole, who happens to be an expert in agricultural development in Africa.
Have the indigenous people been using this tree for that purpose?
Correct. Yes, This tree has been used traditionally for centuries, but has lost its interest because people are more drawn to lower quality packaged Western foods. We're actually helping the communities, teaching the communities as part of our harvest that they need to include this fruit more into their diet.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, I'm noticing there's more and more of these supplement products available on the market. Is there any way I can get a complete diet without taking supplements, given all the processed food?
Well, unfortunately, monoculture and the way foods have been processed and are overgrown on nutrient poor soils, more and more we need to add other sources that are nutrient rich. Superfoods, supplements, organic fruits and vegetables tend to be more nutrient rich.
So Kaebae is the parent company, but the actual product is the baobab fruit powder.
Well, Kaebae is actually an interesting story behind that one. When we drove up to the communities the first time, we drove up in remote northern Ghana, connecting with elders and these communities together with Tom. And when we would drive up to these communities, they will go, Kaebae, Kaebae, Kaebae. And it's basically the bonjour, the hi, hello, how are you, in Kusal, and their language of the communities that we work with. And I felt so connected to them and I'm grateful that I could create this company. So Kaebae means hi, hello, how are you in Kusal. It connects
now, how did you go from discovering this tree to making a product to bring it back to the U.S.? I see on the package you have a lot of different stamps of various different government agencies you had to pass through.
It's been a long journey. We started 5 years ago, and I want to do it right. And we started a organically processed facility connected with EcoCert, which is a French auditing agency, ensuring that we do it all the right way, in a sustainable way. So we built a processing center, became organically certified in Ghana, and then figured out how can we get this ingredient into the U.S.
So it's actually processed in Ghana, and then you import it as a powder?
It's roughly processed in Ghana,
Uh-huh.
and then it's processed in a facility here in the U.S. that's approved, that's kosher, that's non-GMO verified, that is NSF GMP certified. So it's the highest level in food processing. So the powder comes in, we check it, make sure it's food grade, and do all the required testing.
But getting
FDA
it over
requires.
because it is a fruit. I mean, I got stopped once with a banana peel coming in from Mexico, and almost lost my green card. No, it was. They were very upset.
But
So-
what's amazing about the baobab is that it's a pod. The fruit is actually a pod that grows on the tree, and the fruit powder the dries in the pod on the tree. And the locals know when to harvest it because it turns brown when it's ready to harvest. So yeah, if you just meet all the correct requirements for import, then you can bring it in the country.
What sort of health benefits are you seeing that people are receiving from this?
The reason why I was drawn to this fruit is because it addresses two very important aspects in our health. One, it addresses the gut. You've heard of probiotics. Well, probiotics are all those friendly little organisms that do those good things in your intestines, important to your immune system. Well, baobab is 48% prebiotic fiber. So it's a specific type of fiber that feeds all the good organisms in the gut. So it has a very powerful effect on the immune system. Secondly, research has shown that it's also low glycemic, meaning that it stabilizes blood sugar. And we know that blood sugar handling problems are a big issue here in the U.S. and the West. In addition, this fruit is extremely high in antioxidants, 4 to 5 times greater than acai, if you're familiar with acai. It's also very high in calcium, magnesium, and potassium, and vitamin C. It's as if this tree figured out how to concentrate all these vital nutrients. It grows in one of the harshest places in the world, the savannah, where agriculture is almost impossible. And so this tree is really a wise tree, and it's taken me on a whole new journey.
Well, why doesn't our gut just naturally figure out? I mean, why do we need these probiotics?
Well,
We're not just naturally balanced.
No. So there was actually an interesting article recently published on CNN where this researcher was doing research on the gut. And he found that when he lived with a tribe, the Hazda tribe, that uses baobab on a daily basis, that the population of all the positive organisms in the gut drastically shifted within 3 days. When he went back to his Western diet, his McDonald's diet, the gut changed within days.
And how does that affect our long-term health if our gut's not
Well,
balanced?
70% of your immune system is wrapped around the gut.
Oh, wow.
So just imagine autoimmune conditions, recurrent infections. And what's great too about baobab, kids love it. And having worked with children with autism for the past 10, 12 years, I know how difficult it is for these children to incorporate all these healthy nutrients in their diet. But baobab tastes so good, it's like candy. It tastes sweet and sour.
Can I use it in my cooking?
Yes.
So it doesn't affect it if it's heated
Well,
up?
some of the, of course, heat will cause some of the antioxidants to lose, but the fiber, the minerals, some of the vitamin C and the bioflavonoids will endure.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking with Dr. Luc Maes, the founder of Kaebae, and you can find out more by going to gokaebae.com. That's your website. I want to talk to you a little bit about your marketing and just the aesthetics of what you've put together here, because I take it you said this whole journey has been 5 years. Beautiful packaging. Is this something you came up with yourself? How important is that? You've got a great logo with Kaebae. We want to talk about how you decided and how did has your marketing changed over time?
Well, Kaebae is about health and beauty. So for the past 5 years, we've introduced baobab by itself as an ingestible, not only to the retail, but also as a food ingredient to the food and beverage industry. But I've learned that there's a lot of things that I don't know. And to build a team and to connect with the right people that put you on the right path has been one of the challenges. And I've really loved meeting people who have knowledge in different fields, from marketing to PR to finance. I have really learned a lot, and so we have a team of people has helped us to create the Kaebae. To bring it alive.
The package is beautiful. Burt's Bees just endorsed you guys, and $10,000 grant from Burt's Bees, which is huge.